In this video, we're transforming our CR18P T-Hunter into an EVO. Hobby Plus now offers all of the individual components necessary to upgrade your existing CR18P to the EVO model. We even got the complete colored body from the EVOs that we're going to put on here. Now the CR18P T-Hunter is a great truck, but the EVO, with its powerful 130 size motor and its metal gear 2-speed transmission, is a worthy step up from the original CR18P. So if you're like me and you had your CR18P prior to the EVO, you might be looking at this thing like you want to throw rocks at it. But now we've got the option to upgrade it and transform it. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So let's jump in. We're going to check out the parts that we got, and then we're going to get to work installing them. So let's get after it. Here's our goodies that we're going to be installing in this video. We got 3 things that we're going to work on. We're going to transform our green Unimog style T-Hunter here. We're going to put the orange EVO body on it because I'm a sucker for orange. If you follow me, you know that. So I'm excited to get the orange body. We've got the complete transmission and motor combo here. Now, Hobby Plus sells this as a kit for 29 bucks. You get the metal gear transmission with the motor attached to it. We get the variable speed servo and the servo mount. Now, they sell this kit as model specific, so make sure if you have the T-Hunter, you select the T-Hunter model or the Rock Van. I also got the servo on axle conversion. So this again comes with all of your hardware, replacement linkage, servo tray, everything we need to relocate our chassis mounted servo down to the axle is going to lower that center of gravity. So I'm going to open these up and get to work. We're going to start transforming this thing. So let's get after it. Okay, step number 1, which is arguably one of the most difficult of this whole conversion, is taking the body off so I can swap out the green cab here. There are 8 screws you need to take the body off, and they are located all over the place. So to get the cab off, you got to take the whole cage and everything off. So there's one behind the taillights, there's one behind the cargo boxes here on each side. The bumper needs to come off, and there's another screw in front of these shocks. And then with that, you can pull the whole thing off here. And I still got my power switch here hooked to the ESC, but now I'm at least in a position to unscrew the cab, which is screwed to the cage from the inside there. So I'm going to take this cab off, and then I'm going to work on the drivetrain, but I wanted to get this apart first. So with the body off the cage and that ready to go back on, I'm going to start looking at the servo on axle conversion here. So let's open up our kit, take a look at what we got. So here's our servo mount here. Just looking at this, it looks like it uses the differential cover, the top 2 bolts of the diff cover, and it sits in between the links, the upper link. I say link because it's singular right now because of the panhard bar setup, but I believe this is going to convert it to a 4-link setup. We've got 2 stubby links here, which looks like they're going to go on either side of the diff, and we're going to mount them up to the chassis and one of these holes here along the side. So I'm going to get to working on this. Hopefully my theory turns out to be true and we can put this together pretty simply, but time will tell. Let's see. Okay, servo on axle conversion complete. Wasn't too painful. Seemed to work out exactly like I thought it did with the 4-link conversion. As you can see, I have 2 independent upper links there attached to the top of the differential. One thing I'm a little concerned about is that there is just no straight axle drop. I mean, that's all you get. I mean, it is basically sitting bottomed out right there, and the shocks cannot compress hardly at all. But side-to-side articulation seems to be maintained. That servo seems to articulate inside the chassis for the most part. I mean, time will tell when we get this on the course and see how it goes, but I am a little concerned about just how that servo fits in there. So to be determined. We'll soldier on. Next step is going to be the motor and transmission swap. Let's open this up. Save the best for last here. Probably the easiest based on how that servo swap went. So here's our variable speed servo, and then here is our complete transmission and motor combo, and they give us a skid. I didn't realize that. The thing's bolted up to the skid and everything, so this is a nice, easy bolt-in. I like it. Our shift rod is in this package as well, so the motor and transmission is going to be very easy swap. I just need to figure out where the servo is going to mount. This may not be as easy as I thought, so I'm going to look up the manual for the T-Hunter EVO and see how all this is located, and then come back to this. So this piece is an ESC relocation. So what we're going to do, we're going to take the ESC tray off, and it's going to flip it from horizontal to vertical, and that's going to give us the room for the forward facing motor. So this ESC tray has to come out. We'll put this one in, and then we'll start working on the motor and the servo. So now that I've got a somewhat of a firm grasp on how this all comes together, I'm going to start ripping into it. Here we go. So at the end of day one here, it's about 12:30 at night right now. Just got the motor and transmission installed. Got the ESC tray installed as well, but one thing I'm noticing right off the bat is that with this ESC tray, there's even less articulation with the servo on axle. So I don't think that conversion is going to work with this setup. So I think I'm going to go back to the chassis mounted servo with the panhard bar and see how that works out. But this is where I'm going to stop for tonight. I will finish assembling this tomorrow. I also ran into an issue with the servo. So again, got to do some research on where this variable speed servo is going to sit. But this is enough for tonight because my brain is fried and I need to sleep on it. So I will regroup tomorrow. Day 2. Oh boy, where do we even start here? So after doing some research, I found out that the T-Hunter variable speed servo actually mounts to the bottom of the cage in the back here, but the EVO has a different model cage. It actually has this indent, extends further back, and you mount the servo kind of right here, flat against this primary part. I don't have that, so I can't use that functionality. So I'm back to the drawing board trying to put this on the outside of the chassis, but when you do this, your cage will then not fit over it. So I removed one of these little cargo boxes on the side, was able to get the cage to fit over the servo. It'll just kind of sit there on the outside. The servo on axle, again, like I said, that just was not working, so I went back to the stock setup. That seems to be much better. So it was unfortunate I wasn't able to get that to work. But now I'm running into another problem, which is that my drive shaft in the rear is too long. So the bigger transmission pushes your drive shaft mount further towards the back, and when that happens, I just can't attach my linkage because it's about 2 or 3 millimeters too stretched from the motor. So I think I'm going to have to order a new set of drive shafts. Quick update, my friends. So I ended up robbing the drive shafts off of my son's CR18P EVO. Got this thing operational, hooked everything up, and then the variable speed servo just cooked itself. I ran it maybe 5 or 6 turns. I just had a puff of smoke come out of it. It's very hot, so the thing is toast. So again, I'm back to the drawing board. I got to see if I have another variable speed servo. I think I do for my power wagons to throw in here. Only good news is that it works. Everything's functioning. I just need to get that 2-speed transmission figured out. Okay, my friends, may have turned a corner here. So I got a ramp crab servo in there and was able to get in using the transmitter, trim my channel 3, and I've got a functioning 2-speed transmission. Neutral, high gear. It's all working. My shift rod's a little bent there because the ramp crab went beast mode when I first turned it on. But we are in good shape. The next step, I believe, is just going to be putting the body on and buttoning this thing up, and then we'll get to take it for a spin. There she is, all put together. This was such a huge project. Still not perfect. As you can see, there's kind of a hump in the cage there. It doesn't fit completely flush. That's because that portion of the rear cage doesn't clear the variable speed servo. So it's kind of pressing up down against it. So I've just kind of muscled it on there. What I'll have to do this right, I'm going to have to order a T-Hunter EVO cage to get everything to fit properly. But what I ended up doing, I put some double-sided tape on the back of the servo and just stuck my cargo box on there. Now you can't see it from the side. Matches the other side as well. So other than the hunchback look that it's got kind of like an angry, looming look to it. It is done. I got one more surprise in store for the T-Hunter, and that is these gigantic DJ crawler tires. I just got these in the mail. These are even bigger than the Mud Stud 68 millimeters. These are 68 by 26, the biggest tire that DJ Crawler makes. So I'm going to throw these on there just for shock value and see how they look, and then we'll run this thing and just have some fun. Behold, the DIY Franken Evo. This thing fought me every step of the way. It did not want to exist, but we wrestled this abomination into existence, and here it is, just like Frankenstein's monster. And what a monster it is. It's got these hulking 68 millimeter DJ Crawler tires on it with the kind of hunchback look. Gives it a menacing downward glare at the lines that it's about to crush. The orange glossy body and the black accents with the gray wheels, everything just works together really, really well. So although this was a very difficult project, much more than I thought it was going to be, I am pretty happy with the results. It just looks so cool. And now that everything's done and housed in there properly, I feel much better about it. Really grateful I was able to hide the servo over here. Everything is functional. I have that nice slow crawl that we were after, that 130 motor. Super, super smooth and controlled. Not a terrible amount of rubbing with these giant tires. With the 2-speed transmission, got neutral, click it into high. Lots of wheel speed if I want to have fun with it, although this will primarily be in crawler gear, I'm sure, but it's nice to have the versatility of that 2-speed. All right, we've worked hard enough on it. We've talked about it long enough. Let's get this thing on the course and see how it performs. Franken Evo on the course. Here we go. I'm excited to see how this thing does. I love how it looks with those tires and the orange. This 130 motor, super smooth. Nice. See how these DJ Crawler tires do on the course here too. It's my first time ever running them. Whoa. T-Hunter's got that good approach angle, putting it to work over there. Tires are making us pretty top heavy though. Let's see if it can stick this line. This is a gnarly line. Oh no! We'll reset and try again here. Tire's doing pretty good on the course. Able to get up the canyon really easy. Getting some fold on the tires, not surprisingly, on this side hill. Just running the stock foams in here. These are big tires. Sticking pretty well though. We're making it through the rounds. Head into Mini Moab. We'll try out the challenge lines, our typical challenge lines here, before we go out and hit the rocks. Struggling a little bit on this gatekeeper. There we go. Oh, I was holding my breath there. This thing is just teetering. The tires have made it so tall, I think. Oh, still able to stick these lines though. Let's try some side hill. Got some gates on the course just because I'm planning to do a comp build showdown, but I'm carrying one along with me. These Flub RC Goober gates. Oh man, barely hanging on here. I am still carrying that gate. Oh, we almost got to the end. I didn't expect a lot of gains in side hill just based on what we did with the tires and all, but I wanted to try it anyway. Okay, up the chute. Doing good from a vertical climb. And for our last line, let's head up Hell's Gate. I love the slow crawl of this motor. The T-Hunter slow crawled really well before, but now we've just got that extra torque from this bigger 130 motor. Looking good. We're going to make it up here. It's going to be tight. Oh man, it does it. Very impressed with the Evo, the DIY Evo here. Just in love with how it looks. And happy that I was able to make it work and see some performance gains here. You know, I don't remember how this thing did on the course before this new iteration, but being able to do Hell's Gate and all the challenge lines and everything without a lot of drama feels good. I'm surprised at how well it's handling these giant tires too. My turning radius has suffered as I turn my steering down to accommodate these things, but not bad otherwise. Not a tremendous amount of rubbing, and they look amazing on there. One last line and then we'll take it outside. Let those big things hook up. Find some grip. There we go. Alright, that was fun. Pleasantly surprised at how it did. So let's go hit the rocks with it. I learned a lot during the making of this video, and I'm excited to share my key takeaways with you. So here are my top 3 tips on how to transform your CR18P into an Evo. Tip number 1, place your existing CR18P on the Facebook Marketplace. Tip number 2, purchase a brand new Evo. Tip number 3, enjoy the Evo as it is in box form. In all seriousness, this was a project that I bit off way more than I could chew. Jeff Goldblum in the movie Jurassic Park has a great saying when he says that the scientists who created the dinosaurs were so preoccupied about whether or not they could, they didn't think about whether or not they should. That's what I feel like after this project. I was so excited about being able to transform the T-Hunter into the Evo, I didn't stop to think about whether or not it was actually a good idea. And about halfway, not even halfway, into this project, I realized that it was not a good idea and that it's much more sensible to just buy the Evo to begin with. And although I was able to make it work and I am very happy with the finished product, I really like how it came out, I still have a lot of loose ends to tie up, and it's just not as complete as I would like it to be. I still have to buy the bed and the cage set up here to get it to clear my servo, and then actually once I get the bed and cage I can mount the servo correctly because it's not in the correct spot now. I've got to replace the drive shafts that I robbed off of my son's CR18P EVO. Also, the kit doesn't come with the adapter for the 3-pin servo, the traditional 3-pin servo to plug into the ESC, so I had to pull that off of the rock van. So the collateral damage from this project has left me with a bunch of other projects. So in hindsight, I really wish I would have just pulled the trigger and bought a new orange T-Hunter EVO. But hey, part of the fun in this hobby is tinkering and tuning and creating your own workarounds, fulfilling your vision. And that's what we did here. We set out to create an Evo and we did it. Is it perfect? No. But I think the imperfections make it all the more special because we built it by hand pretty much. So with that, I can say that it was a satisfying project now that it's all done. I'm very happy with how it performs. Just a super cool rig. I love the T-Hunter to start with, and now I just love it even more. Very cool truck. But check out Fair RC down below. I'll put the link where I got the parts. If you want to undertake this project and create your own Evo, that's where I got all my stuff. And let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think of the Franken Evo here? As always, I appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done so, and I'll see you in the next video.